Honest Hearts wasn't that bad, okay?
The mal-paced Leggett finally met his match. Hanlon and Oliver kicked his new Canaanite butt right back over the river. Caesar had to make an example for the others, to show them that even at the highest level, failure wouldn't be tolerated. He had Graham covered in pitch, lit on fire, and thrown into the Grand Canyon. People say he didn't even scream on the way down.
When you ask people which DLC for Fallout New Vegas is the worst of the bunch, you'll get different answers based on who you ask. The worst is Dead Money if you ask people who hate change, it's Old World Blues for people who hate comedy, and it's Lonesome Road for libertarians. But overall, the answer you'll usually get is Honest Hearts. It's the second DLC for the game, taking place in Zion Canyon, where the player is tasked with solving a violent dispute between post-apocalyptic tribes. Although it's an abrupt swerve as the player is misled into thinking they're just doing a caravan route. There's more! Shit! Stella!
No!
Stella!
Don't you die on me!
Jed! Oh God. They killed everyone! The most commonly levied critique of this DLC from progressives is that it is racist, even if it's well-meaning, and it's not hard to see why. It's the only time Fallout New Vegas depicts tribes in such a traditional indigenous-coded manner, and the new Canaanite missionaries have a patronizing attitude towards the tribes, and even seek to convert them to not just Christianity, but to Mormonism specifically. And you only have to glance at the history of Christian missions to convert indigenous populations to see the harm such coercive religious assimilation can have, even when the missionaries try to offer something in return.
New Canaanites believe, as many once did, that God was made flesh here on earth as a man named Jesus Christ. He sacrificed his life to save us. The Lord helps those who help themselves, but the sorrows don't know how. Joshua and I do. Since I got them into this mess, I need to get them out.
Keep in mind that neither of us is indigenous when we say that we want to make a distinction. Yes, Honest Hearts is racial, but we don't think it is racist. It's a trope in fiction to create fictional tribes and even fictional races, and the Fallout series has engaged in that trope, like Arroyo in Fallout 2 or Point Lookout in Fallout 3. This DLC tries to flesh out these tribes to not just be walking tropes, and each has a companion that gives the player insight into the tribe's culture. The tough-as-nails midwife, Waking Cloud, and the curious wanderer, Follows Chalk.
We have dwelt in the Narrows since the end that came in fire, when the Father in the caves punished the world and made us forget the Holy Tongue. We have had good relations with the other tribes in the valley, at least before Salt Upon Wounds brought his white legs here.
We don't think there is anything inherently wrong or racist with creating a fictional culture or even race. And in a post-apocalyptic setting, exploring hypothetical tribal cultures after modern civilization collapses can be an interesting subject. The question is, how should it be done? New Vegas has tribes, but those tribes dress in a so-called civilized way. The tribes in Zion eschew that, and we shouldn't be so quick to discourage depictions of future cultures in ways that deviate from our modern Western norms. The problem is that these Fallout tribes tend to lean into an indigenous cultural aesthetic, particularly a Native American one. Often they'll wear paraphernalia or have symbols or tattoos that should be filled with cultural meaning, but really aren't. It'd be fair to call it problematic because of what is lacking, but we stop very much short of saying what is present is racist. We think what could have alleviated these issues would have been to include indigenous perspectives in the DLC's creation to ensure the fictional tribes were made more thoughtfully, or possibly to even depict actual tribes.
See those handprints? Dead horses and sorrows mark them on taboo places. Places from back when. Good thing for you, I don't buy into that stuff.
Oh, okay. It's a superstition then. The main contributing factor to this racial issue is that this DLC was clearly the most rushed DLC for FMV. The quest is very short, effectively being a series of checkboxes and fetch quests spread out into the canyon in between dialogue. Personally, we feel the unique environment to be worth traversing, but it's understandable that people were left wanting.
I was starting to lose hope we'd be able to get any of this, much less all of it. Tribals are smart, but, well, they're ignorant. Turns out all it took was a Gentile, or, no offense. These supplies are a
That's
godsend.
fine.
But if we're going to evacuate Zion without drawing more White Leg attention, I need you to go back into the valley. Specifically, I need you to scout out some locations for White Legs and try to recover a map of Grand Staircase, a wilderness area to the east. There's also the matter of the roads. We're going to be heading out of the east side of the park, but I'm not sure the way is clear.
Joshua Grimm is probably the most beloved character from the DLC. He has massive relevance to the story of FMV, as he was Caesar's right hand before being burned alive for his failure to defeat the New California Republic. Surviving, he crawled back to his home, New Canaan, where they forgave him for the slaughter and untold deaths he had caused. It's only then that Joshua, the burned man, really changes, trying to undo the harm he did by helping the tribes and fending off the Legion-aligned Whitelegs. While most games with moral choices try to balance them, this DLC does something we really find intriguing. The big choice isn't a binary good versus evil, but it's not two equally mixed options either. One of your choices is simply the correct option, while the other is not. You either side with Joshua to kill the invading marauders, or you side with his compatriot Daniel to flee the canyon. Daniel's perspective is just wrong. It worsens life for the tribes, it cedes their home, and it gives fascists a win, and all for what? Their innocence? Meanwhile, Joshua's rally for war does come at the cost of the tribes learning brutal warfare and risk-stoking Joshua's personal demons, but the DLC even gives you an option to temper those externalities. Given FMV's main quest was centered around vengeance, we loved being able to see in such an interesting figure what vengeance can do to a man. Joshua's iconic quote captures both his vengeful stubbornness and his intense resolve.
After I failed Caesar and he had me burned alive, thrown into the Grand Canyon.
How did you survive?
I survived because the fire inside burned brighter than the fire around me. I fell down into that dark chasm, but the flame burned on and on.
Respect.
The next morning, I woke up and crawled out of the northern edge of the Grand Canyon, that cursed place. It took me 3 months to reach New Canaan. The fire that had kept me alive was love. Their love. God's love. I will never be able to repay the debt I owe to them, but I must try.
However, in true FMV fashion, the most interesting character in Honest Hearts is one that never appears in person, instead only appearing in the backstory. Randall Clark, the survivalist, was an American ranger who survived the nuclear apocalypse and watched over Zion Canyon. His story is not that of a military hero or wish-fulfilling protagonist. His life is tragic, constantly thinking about the deaths of his wife and child. He tries to move on, using his survivalist skills to care for a Mexican tribe from afar, but then the tribe is murdered by Vault-Tec cannibals. Still, he continues on, finding a new love, only for her and their child to die in childbirth. Every time he's given the chance, he makes the right call, does the right thing, and the world just shits on him. And he feels it too. Every year, his birthday present to himself is a bullet to the head. And every year, he can't bring himself to do it. Despite the tragedies, life continues, blossoms. Zion Canyon becomes fertile. The Mexican tribe is succeeded by a tribe of children, and he watches over them. This man endured so much hardship, lost 2 children, but in the end, his love created a whole culture, a new tribe, dozens of children who still revere him as their father. The real story of Honest Hearts sees the slogan of war never changes and raises a corollary, life goes on. And it's beautiful.
I've been leaving notes for him and gifts. I tell them to read and learn and to make the most of their new home. I tell them that I'm giving them Zion as a gift to make up for all the sorrows of their lives so far and all the sorrows man has visited on man. I tell them to be kind to each other and modest. I tell them never to hurt each other, but that if someone else comes along and tries to hurt them, to strike back with righteous anger. Stuff like that. I sign every note, the father, because... well, just because. I've given away most of what I own. They'll find the rest in the caves when they get a little older. I don't want them to find me, though. The father is a broke-down old man. Disappointment. It's time. I don't want another birthday. I'll just lie down and stare at the sky. It feels right. I hope they'll do well. I hope no harm comes to them, from within or without. Did my best to prepare them with the last few notes. Said something kind about each one of them, what makes each one special. Told them the father was pleased by their kind natures and that it would be up to them to handle things on their own from now on. That I'd be silent, but still watching and still caring. Lying, then. Oh yes. Lied to you, Shar, and Alex, and Sylvie. Told you I'd be with you forever, but I wouldn't go back and unsay it once if I could. What was the point of it all? So many failures. But I never forgot your face, or Little Nuts, or... sorry, Sylvie's. They used to say that happened after a while, but it never did for me. It's been a gift to me, at the end of it all, to behold innocence. Goodbye, Zion. Randall Dean Clark, February 5th, 2053 to January 2124.
And so, we give Honest Hearts a 7 out of 10. Definitely enjoyable.